Awesome, guys. I'm excited. Joseph Carter here, coming to you from San Diego, California. And as I am talking to you right now, I am watching a beautiful sunset over the bay here in San Diego. The sailboats are in the water. People are lighting up their boats, blue lights, green lights, yellow lights. It's absolutely beautiful. It's the middle of summertime, but it looks like Christmas. Currently, as you can see, that is what the bay looks like. The screen recording that I have here is showing you what it looks like. But right now the sunset does not look as beautiful, but it is definitely lit up really nice. So I'm excited to come here to you guys and share with you my experience, my wisdom, my failures, my success, and more importantly, teach you what school never taught you. Now, what I'm going to share with you guys on these podcasts going forward is, one, how to make money. I'm always going to share with you guys how to make money right from the grip. And then two, what you do when you make the money. Three, how to help other people make money. And four, how not to feel ashamed for wanting to have and make more money. Because the negative naysayers out there are pretty good at telling us how evil we are because we want to make more money and have a better lifestyle. So, first things first, how do you guys make money today? Well, this is very simple, very simple. A little trick that I learned when I was in the military. A little trick that I learned was I would actually go on Craigslist. And I don't know what your budget is, but I'm going to give you this as an example. You can go on Craigslist right now. You can find Jeeps that were made in the 1990s, 1980s and 1990s, and especially if you're out here on the West Coast where the weather's nice. And you can find them for roughly $2,000 to $3,000. And you can purchase these Jeeps off of somebody who's selling on Craigslist for $2,000 to $3,000, and you can take that exact same Jeep without changing anything about it, without doing anything to it, and you can relist that same Jeep for $6,000. Now, the reason why this works so well is because a Jeep that's valued for $3,000 can also be a Jeep that's valued for $6,000. The reason why is because a Jeep is, it's simple. It's a box with wheels. As long as it works, people don't care. They're excited that they just have a Jeep. So when I was in the military making $21,000 a year, less than $18 a month, I would save up and I would go and buy Jeeps for $3,000. I would then relist them for $6,000 on Craigslist, let the guy who came to see the Jeep negotiate me down to $5,000, maybe even $4,800, and happily give him that Jeep. And what I would do is I didn't have the money saved up, so I'd actually get a cash advance off my credit card from the bank and then go and use that $3,000 cash to buy the Jeep. Worst case scenario, I knew that if I had to get out of it, I would just drive the Jeep around and eventually pay it off because the payments weren't that bad. But what I did was I got to where I was buying 2 to 3 Jeeps at a time. And I did this the last year I was in the military. I was a Navy corpsman with the Marines out in Lejeune. And the problem with the timing that I was doing this is I had no place to park the Jeep because I was living on base. So because I couldn't park all 3 Jeeps, I had to pay buddies of mine, $150 to park the Jeeps at their house for a month until it's sold. And it ended up becoming a headache for me because I eventually was getting out of the military, so I stopped doing it. But that right there allowed me to make a little over $20,000 to $25,000 with buying and selling Jeeps off Craigslist within a 6-month period. And that was a lot of money for me back then, being that I did not make that much monthly. So something you guys can do today is you can go to Craigslist, go to eBay, and buy something for whatever it is, and then just relist it for a little bit higher. Don't change anything about it. And the reason why this works so well is because price determines value. Price determines value. Okay, not the other way around. If you say something is worth $6,000, people are going to look at it like it's worth $6,000. If you say something's worth $3,000, people are going to look at it like it's worth $3,000. So that is how you guys can start making money today. That's so important. I look forward to hearing y'all's results from that. But now let's go into some other important things. Let's talk about success. Let's talk about failures. Let's talk about the daily activities that you have going on in your life that continues to bring out the same result that you experience, which is, it may be traffic, it may be bills, it may be sickness, it may be crazy friends, it may be bad girlfriends or bad boyfriends, it might be a weight issue, or it might be good things. It might be freedom. It might be balance. So let's talk about that, because that is so important. That is so important for people to recognize that your daily activities is what's giving you the current lifestyle that you have. You get what you talk about. And most people don't realize this, but they're talking about all the shit that they don't want. And what's happening is that's all they are getting. They're getting more of the shit that they don't want. See, when I was in the military, I had no money, but I never told people that I had money. You were never going to know that I had no money. If we went somewhere and it was expensive, I made it work. I found a way to get the money, or to pay for something, or to maybe not be hungry at the time. But I was never going to tell somebody that I did not have the money to afford a meal or to go on a vacation somewhere. I always talked about having more. And really what I was doing is I was lying to myself, and I was lying to those around me. Now, I wasn't really showboating a lifestyle that I didn't have. I just didn't believe in letting people know I was struggling, because when you let someone know that you're struggling, they look at you differently. Now I'm talking about financially here. I'm not talking about any other sense of the word, just straight finances. When you let people know that you're struggling financially, they look at you differently. So you never want to talk about what you're going through, what you don't have, what you're missing out on. And by happenstance, because I was always talking about having more and wanting more and going for more, eventually that brought the right people into my life that showed me a way of how to get more, how to have more, how to generate more, and pretty much how to be free. And that is the power. That is the power of talking about where you're going versus talking about where you're at. You never want to talk about where you're at. You always want to talk about where you're going. And what that does is that creates certain attractions about you as an individual that brings in the right people and gets rid of the wrong people. See, when you start talking about where you're going and what you're going to have, all the naysayers and the doubters shun you away. Now, some people are kind of shocked when that happens and they feel bad because these are their friends and family, but you needed them out of your life in the first place. You just didn't realize that. So you grew up around these negative people, these naysayers, these doubters, these horrible influencers, and you just didn't realize the type of environment you were putting yourself into. So when you start talking about where you're going and all the great things are happening to you, these people will shun you away. But what happens is those people are replaced with the people who will support you. One thing you're going to learn is in life is your friends and family, your close friends and family will never really support you until strangers start celebrating you, until strangers start lifting you up or inviting you out to nicer places, or they start seeing you, socialize with a different type of community. That's when your close friends and family will start to see you in a different light. So if you guys are struggling in this sense because of your spouses, your loved ones, your friends are, just influencing you and kind of putting their thumb on you, and not be purposely doing it. I mean, because you can have, these people love you. Remember, these people, these friends, these family members, they love you. They just don't realize that what they're doing to you, because you need encouragement. You are a human being. You are a human being with a brain. And a human being with a brain is really a unique animal, because we have the ability to think. We have the ability to create ideas. We have the ability to see into the future. That is really our defense mechanism. Where most animals out there have claws and sharp teeth and can run fast and are really strong, that's their defense mechanism. Us human beings, our brain is how we survive. And the only way that you can really impact and help somebody become a better human being is by encouragement, lifting them up and giving them guidance and direction, helping them think more, helping them think outside this box. So you want to recognize that you need people around you to help you think outside the box and grow and feel support and encouragement and socialize on another level. So when you start speaking about where you're going, remember, when those other people shun you because you're thinking so big, that's what you want. That's what you need. So this is something that I relate to a frog in a pot of water. It's a science project. If you take a frog and you drop him in a pot of water that's at room temperature and you set that water to a slow boil, eventually the frog will cook himself to death, not recognizing that the environment around him is slowly starting to kill him because he is comfortable. He never realized that the temperature was getting hotter and hotter and hotter. Now, if you take another frog and you drop him in a pot of water that's already at a boiling temperature, that frog will simply jump out of that pot of water because he will quickly recognize that is a toxic environment. So one thing you want to realize and see and understand is that if you have people around you that are constantly putting you down or shitting on your dreams, and they're telling you that they're talking to you about their struggles instead of where they're going, that's a toxic environment that they are creating for you. Unwillingly, not purposely doing that, but they are doing it, and therefore, because they are doing it, you must limit your time with them. Remember, this is not about getting away from your family and friends. This is not about disowning them. This is about limiting your socialization with them, limiting the time your brain is around these individuals. And by doing that, you create ultimate freedom. Ultimate freedom. So, what you want to really come to in thought here is you want to come to a place where you yourself can say, what's my environment look like? Where is my environment taking me as an individual? The people I see on a daily basis, what are they doing for me mentally? The people I talk to on a daily basis, are they supporting me and encouraging me? Or are they holding me back? When you realize your environment, you can quickly leave it. And even if you don't know how to leave it, it doesn't matter. See, a lot of people will say, how do I become wealthy? How do I become successful? How? And when is it going to happen? None of that shit matters. What matters is why. See, I left my toxic environment because I didn't want to die anymore. I knew I was dying by being there. So that was a big enough why for me to leave. And I didn't want to go from one toxic environment into another toxic environment of working for somebody else, making somebody else wealthy, not enjoying the process because I was sacrificing my dreams for theirs. That would have been another toxic environment, and I escaped that as well. I was willing to live out of my car. Maybe sleep on a beach before I was willing to go back and get a job and work for somebody else. Now, that's a powerful why. And that was something that, even though I didn't know how I was going to become successful, I realized it didn't matter because as long as I hung around people who had the money, had the wealth, eventually I would see how to get there. And so the one thing I want you guys to comprehend here is if you don't like your environment or where you are financially, find somebody who has the lifestyle and the money and the income that you so desire for yourself to have. More importantly, recognize that failure is something you should welcome. Failure is what you need in your life in order to find success. You will not find success without failure. And if you, for some odd reason, become successful before your first failure, I personally believe you've doomed yourself. You've doomed yourself because then it makes you a one-hit wonder. Because success does not simply stick around. Success is a constant moving target. Always changing directions. You have to chase after success. It'll never let you hold on to it. Success is like a moment in time. You've reached a certain time frame. You've reached a certain threshold in your life. But guess what? The threshold changes quickly after you get there. That stepping stone that you're standing on that's gotten you to the level of life that you're at eventually starts to sink into that quicksand, and you have to find another stepping stone. Nothing good in life lasts forever. You guys have to recognize this. Life itself does not last forever. We've seen this time and time again. People are born in this world and they leave this world. So therefore, if you are born in this world and you will leave this world, nothing you have really lasts forever. And what you really want to think about here is what a man or woman does for themselves, they will take with them when they leave this world. Meaning, obviously, you can't take your wealth, your riches, so they really stop at death's door. But what a man or woman does for somebody else, stays behind forever. That's the ripple effect. That's the ripple effect I want you to think about when you wake up tomorrow morning, when you're going through your day. What can you do that will last forever? More importantly, welcome failure and always be ready to chase after success. And then remember, at the end of the day, it's not about the moment you become successful, but it's about who you become while you are becoming successful. Guys, this is Joseph Carter. I have so much more to come and share with you guys. I hope you thoroughly enjoy this podcast. Please like, subscribe, share it. Let your friends and family and acquaintances know that you're going to learn how to make money here today. You're going to learn how to be a better person. You're going to learn how to fail over and over again and not be afraid of that failure, because I'm going to show you how to get through it. You guys have a wonderful day. God bless.